welcome to a new episode of ProBody Talks. And my amazing guest today is the one and only James Alexander Ellis, one of the best England's, London's coaches, strength and conditioning coach, lifestyle coach, and one of the most inspirational pro fitness athletes. Thank you so much, James, for being here with me.
Thanks for the wonderful invite and the wonderful intro. Appreciate that.
Yeah, how are you? How's things? It's been a while since I last saw you.
Yeah, it's been a bit too long since we're pretty much neighbours. Yeah, I just been jetting around a lot recently. Sounds more glamorous than it is. I've been in 12 countries this year.
Wow, that's amazing.
9 of them were work related. Been doing loads of different stuff. I've done some consulting. I've done a bit of speaking. I went away with a client to help him with his competition prep. Yeah, so it's been busy.
Life is great, and it seems like you moved a little bit away from the bodybuilding part of it, right?
Yeah, I have.
You're looking good though. I prefer this look of yours much more.
Yeah, I've moved away. I mean, mostly because I still live and work in the niche, and it's still what I do. But personally, I decided to retire. I haven't officially said I'll retire.
Wow, this is a big statement to hear this from you now. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, it's best for an athlete at the top of their game not to say they've retired. It's best to say, we'll see, because then people are guessing.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I think you look better than ever, to be honest. I much more prefer this look of yours, and you look very fresh at the same time.
Yeah, I feel young.
Because it seems like you're getting a lot of sleep.
Yeah, I feel young and fresher, and I'm fitter and healthier, and I've got a better relationship with my body and my diet and stuff. I mean, I prefer how my body looked when I was a shredded bodybuilder. Don't get me wrong, I prefer that, but it's hard to make peace with when you've looked a certain way. You know what it's like when you've been shredded. You know, you have off season and you don't feel as good. But worse than an off season is like going back almost towards normal, or normal as we would see it, still athletic for most people.
True.
So that transition is much harder and more painful, and it's taken me about 1.5 years to like get my head around my body image.
It's the same for everyone, or it takes even longer. So guys, the subject today, because we already started getting slowly into it, it's bodybuilding competitions, pros and cons of competing, body, mind, and soul, and how this affects your body, mind, and soul connection. So we're gonna approach a little bit of everything today. But before that, James, because I know you for such a long time, I wanted you to give me a brief bio of yours, the way you started in fitness industry, and then you started competing, then you became a pro. You were and you are, I think you are now at like literally the top of your game, as you said. And you know, I want to talk a little bit about yourself, so people know more of you and things that you probably didn't tell people so far.
Yeah, sure. Well, I guess I emerged in the industry in 2012, so 7 years now. I started because when I was a PT 10 years ago, when I started as a PT, my PT manager was encouraging me to do a bodybuilding competition. I had no real interest in doing bodybuilding comp because, I mean, I like to cover models, right? Not bodybuilders. So I'm looking at muscle and fitness and men's health, not flex. But you know, and then I did a photo shoot because I was getting in really good shape anyway. Because you know, PTs get more and more obsessed about their physique. Because when you're at the best shape in the gym, and then suddenly you're a personal trainer, you want to be the best personal trainer. So then you get more competitive anyway, even before you go near a stage. So I was starting to get in better shape, and I did a professional photo shoot with a guy called John Ord, who runs Kinetic Studios in my hometown of Gloucester. And this photo shoot was like a fitness shoot, and I was so impressed with the pictures. I was like, "This is me." Wow, I was like, "You've not edited this?" He was like, "No, it's off the camera." And I was like, "Oh my God," you know, were you scrolling through the pictures?
Yeah.
And I published them to Facebook, and I got an invitation from a guy running NIFMA in Belfast called Martin Spence. And he was the first person to say, "Hey, you know, you look great. I want you to invite you to come to my show." So back then I thought an invitation was like some amazing thing. I didn't realize that promoters have to make a living and they invite anyone. But hey, thank you, Martin. and I went and did this.
Everyone has to survive, right?
Yeah, it's fine. I went to do the competition in Belfast. It was like a small show with like 100 people. And you know, when they erect the staging in like a little conference room, and it's a bit kind of, yeah, it's a bit amateur, but I enjoyed it. I came away with a trophy, and I had the bug then. So then I did Miami Pro in 2012, and that's when things changed. I did Miami Pro, and I had this like awesome posing coach who called
Yeah,
Audrey IPO, who
I
totally changed my world, and she changed the world of most people she worked with, just because she is such a guru and so passionate. And we got on well, and she taught me how to pose, and I knew I had a good physique. So when I walked on stage at Miami Pro, I took the win, and I was officially like the UK's first pro muscle model champion at Miami Pro. So this is 2012. This whole process was video blogged by Jeff Simpson, who we also know, and he also helped change my life and has changed many lives of many athletes. Jeff runs Fit Media channel, and he put the video out, and it had 2 million views in like 6 months.
Wow.
And back then, in 2012, some of your listeners may realize that 2 million views these days isn't that impressive. It's great, right? We'd all like 2 million views, but it was not unheard of. But back then, it was unheard of amount of people to watch a fitness video. So that just set me off on a path of like, setting up a Facebook page to blog my journey to the stage, which is WBFF next. And I got more and more.
Path to fame.
Yeah, well, I guess. And I guess you've been around for a while, and you know that back then it was very easy to build up a Facebook page. You just posted and you did it regularly, and people would follow you and engage. Now it's very different. The industry is different. We can touch on that. But that was really the thing that set me off. And then I started competing in WBFF. I won my pro card very quickly, and people were interested in my journey. And then I set up Instagram in 2012, and then Instagram built fine. And from all that kind of notoriety, which is mostly around my competing, I was able to work with different clients, sponsorships, expos, public speaking, and all that stuff really. And here I am today, not doing too differently, I guess. I still like social media is a part of my business. I guess one thing is, like we touched on, just try to turn it away from the hardcore end of the industry, making it a little bit more holistic, mostly in line with my own interests. There you go.
I love that you're still coaching people for competitions, and there is, as I said, pros and cons of competing. Every single coach has their own opinion, their own way of coaching. There's so many ways to skin the cat. You're one of the least people who's got an ego in the industry, because the ego is huge. So when it comes to competing, what are the mistakes that people usually do when they start this journey?
I guess the main thing I see as a coach, and yes, you're right, I almost exclusively coach fitness competitors and bodybuilders. The main thing I've seen over the years is people's expectations haven't been managed from the start. And when I did this, my expectations were like nothing. So they were perfectly managed. They didn't really have any. And probably for yourself, when you did yours in 2014. But these days, because of social media and because of like the fact we have so many coaches and so many people are competing, everyone thinks that they're going to be amazing. Everyone thinks they're going to transform in 12 weeks. And everyone thinks that, I guess people are a bit self-entitled these days, which is a symptom of Western culture, unfortunately. And it's because of the media and because of the way that we learn fast over time. So I think that's the main thing, is people come in, oh, I want you to change me in 12 weeks. I look at them like, you need a year or two of training before you even start dieting. And, you probably experience the same thing. I think that's the main thing. People want to try and run before they can walk. And we have this world now where, when I was training, I've been bodybuilding for 10 years before I even thought about doing competition, maybe even longer. And it's because I loved training. But now, at least I'd say probably a third of all fitness competitors aren't doing competitions because they love training. They're doing competitions because they want fame and notoriety, which is the wrong way to do it.
This is the thing, and people need to understand that if this is the main reason why you're getting into fitness industry, or you're gonna step on the stage, it's very, very wrong, and you need to make it out of passion. Bodybuilding is a beautiful hobby if it becomes your passion, if it's your passion. If not, just forget about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. What mistake do you think you did? Any mistake in your bodybuilding career so far? Or is it anything you would change?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I had a very fortunate time with my bodybuilding. I did really well. I mean, I didn't win Worlds, but I got third at Worlds twice. I never won Europeans. This is for WFF, for people that don't know. I didn't win Europeans, but I got third. So I was close to winning, and that was kind of enough for me. I never got too obsessive. I was like, I have to win, I have to win. I always say to my clients, look, if you're going in just to win, you'd probably be disappointed because there's only one winner. And going in just to win probably won't make any difference to your placing. Like, we all believe in positive thinking. Like, when you're training, you can visualize winning. But if the whole process is driven by like a have to win or it's all bad, you might as well, you're not going to do any better by having that type of visualization. You work hard and do as hard as you can, but don't obsess. Maybe I was a little bit I wasn't ever that committed when I was training. Like, Audrey would tell me off. She'd be like, you're out drinking last weekend. I saw it on your social media. I was like, yeah, I'm 12 weeks out. She's like, you can't drink at 12 weeks out. You're doing a pro show. You're going to Vegas. And I'd say, it's fine. I'm good. I'm ahead of schedule. She'd be like, your competitors aren't drinking. And she'd pick up the phone and she'd find Jaco de Bruyne. She'd say, you think Jaco is drinking at 12 weeks out? Maybe we should ask Jaco. And she'd try and wind me up to get a response. She'd try and make me be a better student. So I knew that it was going to be important for me to have a bit of a balance in my lifestyle, because if you're competing twice a year, every year for years, you know, you lose your friends and family and your work nothing happens. So I was trying to allow some flexibility in. And maybe if I'd have been a little bit more tunnel vision, and this is going to be contrary to maybe like health and lifestyle advice, if I'd been a bit more tunnel vision, I might have got a first place instead of a third. But I don't regret that, because I was able to not exclude all the other important parts of my life whilst I was competing.
It was definitely a learning curve and like an experience that taught you probably a lot. Yeah, you coach both men and women, right?
Yes.
Okay. What is your preference, and what makes it different in terms of mindset when you coach men and when you coach women? Because both, they need to have the same mindset when it comes to competing. And where do you find it more difficult?
I found that I started coaching more girls for competitions in the last 2 years, and I've been doing like comp prep online coaching for about 5 years now. So it was initially like mostly all guys, and my girlfriend said to me, you need to start coaching girls, otherwise you're going to be seen as the guy that only coaches guys. So I started coaching more girls, and the main difference that I found was that girls just need a little bit more hand holding, like maybe emotionally, a little bit more reassurance. And when I first started coaching girls, I was used to guys being a bit more closed off emotionally and not needing constant reaffirming. So I didn't have to say to my male clients, oh, you look amazing, by the way, like, I'm so impressed, you know, like, it was just quite neutral. Give them the information and make them do the work. And then I realized with my female clients, probably because one of them gave me feedback once, she said, oh, but you know, you never really say anything when you see my pictures, and you don't really ever say anything nice. And I was like, oh, well, I was thinking nice things, but this is such a male way to be. So this typical male communication, I think you have to lose it when you work with female trainees, and maybe be a little bit more open and be a bit more communicative in terms of like giving feedback and positive feedback. That's really the only difference, and just accepting that girls can lose fat a little bit more slowly sometimes than guys can, and trying to build in time.
It's all related to the hormones, I suppose, and you need to know how to deal with female hormones.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, understanding that women have a menstrual cycle which not only will change during competition prep, but does allow, and it's helping girls understand that even though they know they're going to put on weight for a few days every month, when they put on weight, they still freak out if they're doing a comp prep, but they probably wouldn't normally. And it's like, all right, you're on your period, right? Yeah, I am. Okay, well, it's just your period that's doing it, so don't worry too much. So, but I don't think there's much more of a challenge between the different genders.
I understand. Thank you all for watching ProBody Talks. We will be bringing you more guests in my upcoming episodes. Great inspirational human beings, so stay tuned. We have a lot of valuable information that I hope will inspire you all. In the meantime, you can support us by subscribing to my Patreon account. Thank you and goodbye, everyone.